At exactly 6:12 a.m., armed police smashed down a door in Manchester and found something that should terrify you. 47 machetes, Albanian shipping crates, and a hit list with your postcode on it. What I'm about to show you connects a KFC drive-thru murder to an international weapons cartel operating in 8 countries. 3 months ago, I thought knife gangs were just British street thugs. I was dead wrong. These aren't gangs, they're franchises, with supply chains, training manuals and kill quotas that would make the mafia jealous. In the next 25 minutes, I'm going to prove to you that what happened to Kelvin Ward in Birmingham wasn't random violence. It was a business transaction. And the people who ordered his death aren't even in Britain. They're in Albania, Germany, and possibly sitting in a boardroom right now, planning the next 700 operations across Europe. But first, let me show you what 47 seconds of imported violence looks like when it explodes onto British streets. Because once you see this CCTV footage, you'll never feel safe in a drive-thru again. The man about to die doesn't know that his murderers flew in from Tirana 3 weeks ago. He doesn't know that the machete about to kill him was shipped through Hamburg in a consignment-marked kitchen equipment. He doesn't know that his murder was ordered by a man who's never set foot in Birmingham. Kelvin Ward just wants a bargain bucket, and that decision is about to expose the most sophisticated criminal franchise in European history. February 15th, 2024, 7:43 p.m. Ward's Vauxhall Astra enters the KFC car park. 30 seconds later, 3 vehicles follow him in. But here's what the police didn't tell you. Those vehicles were rental cars, paid for with cryptocurrency, by ghost companies registered in 5 different countries. The attack team had been in Britain for exactly 18 days, long enough to scout, long enough to plan, not long enough to leave a digital footprint. This is how international organized crime works in 2024. They import killers the way Amazon imports packages. If this sounds unbelievable, hit that like button because what comes next will completely shatter everything you thought you knew about British street crime. And Ward was about to become victim number 7 in what police would later call Operation Nightmare. The men who killed Kelvin Ward weren't British. They were Albanian specialists flown in for this specific job. 7:47 p.m. and 15 seconds. 3 rental cars box Ward in using a formation they call the Triangle of Death. It's taught in Albanian crime academies. The lead killer, Leighton Williams, trained in a compound outside Durrës. Cost, €50,000. Course duration, 6 months. His partner, Tyrone Hollywood, was recruited through encrypted channels on a platform you've probably never heard of. Payment, cryptocurrency. Traceable, never. The attack begins at exactly 7:47 and 30 seconds. Williams goes for the driver door. Hollywood takes the passenger side. The third attacker blocks escape routes. 47 seconds later, Ward is dead. By the time police arrive, the killers have vanished into a network spanning Manchester, Birmingham, London, and 3 European capitals. But here's the twist that will make your blood run cold. This wasn't revenge. This wasn't territory. This wasn't drugs. This was a job interview. Ward died so these men could prove they belonged in Europe's most elite killing franchise. And police had no idea they were dealing with international contractors until they found the shipping manifests. When justice finally caught up with them, Leighton Williams got life with a minimum of 29 years. Tyrone Hollywood got life with a minimum of 19 years. But by then, the franchise had already moved on to London. Share this with someone who thinks they understand how crime really works, because they don't. While Ward's body was cooling in Birmingham, his killers were already on their way to London for their next assignment. Target, a 14-year-old boy on a number 122 bus. But this wasn't random youth violence. This was quality control. The Albanian network has a policy. Every new operator must complete 7 kills in 7 different cities within 30 days. Miss the deadline and you become target number 8. Kelly and Bokassa were sitting in the back seat of that London bus when 2 men boarded at Woolwich Station. They weren't carrying weapons. The weapons were already planted on the bus 3 stops earlier. This level of pre-planning doesn't happen by accident. This is corporate-level logistics. The attackers had studied Bokassa for 2 weeks. They knew his route home from school. They knew which seat he preferred. They even knew his mother worked late shifts and wouldn't expect him until 8 p.m. But here's what will terrify you. Bokassa wasn't chosen because of anything he did. He was chosen because of where he lived. Postcode SE18. Population density, high. Police response time, 12 minutes. CCTV coverage, limited. He was murdered to test response times in South London. His death was data collection for future operations. The man who ordered it was sitting in a cafe in Tirana, tracking everything through encrypted messaging apps. Both attackers got life sentences. The judge called it terrorism on London's transport system. But the real terrorist was the man in Albania who never got caught. If you're starting to realize this is bigger than anything you've heard before, make sure you subscribe because this investigation is about to get even darker. This is where the story gets dangerous. Remember those weapons from Birmingham? Police decided to trace them. What they found connects Birmingham, London, and cities across Europe in ways that will blow your mind. The machetes used to kill Kelvin Ward, manufactured in Albania. The zombie knives from the London bus attack, shipped through Hamburg, Germany. The cash found during raids, tracked back to drug operations spanning 3 countries. This isn't just British crime. This is international organized crime using Britain as their marketplace. According to intelligence briefings, these networks move £50 million worth of weapons and drugs through the UK every year. But here's the twist that made police blood run cold. They knew. They'd known for years. Operation Blade 2019, Operation Sharpen 2021, Operation Cutlass 2023. All failed. The networks kept growing. So in 2025, they tried something different, something that would either work or expose just how deep this goes. And what happened next will either give you hope for Britain's future or terrify you about what's coming. May 30th, 2025, 5:47 a.m. Across Britain, 2,000 police officers prepare for simultaneous raids. This was Operation Scepter, and the results were unprecedented. Manchester, 322 arrests, 19 knives seized in a single day. Merseyside, 64 weapons removed, 24 arrests. West Yorkshire, 180 arrests, numerous weapons including a samurai sword. Norfolk, 104 knives seized, including 88 handed in voluntarily. But these weren't just numbers. These were networks being dismantled in real time. The sentences started rolling in like a tidal wave of justice. Craig Cox, Manchester network leader, 13 years, 6 months. Hassan Abdullah, Kent home invasion leader, 8 years. David Walcott, Croydon murder, 27 years to life. The Hannon brothers, who attacked an off-duty police officer, 7 years each. For the first time in years, knife crime dropped. Manchester saw a 34% decrease in the following month. They didn't just arrest criminals. They broke supply chains, froze bank accounts, seized properties worth over £2 million. But while police were celebrating Scepter's success, something else was happening. The networks were adapting. 3D printed weapons, encrypted communications, decentralized operations. The gangs weren't just surviving, they were evolving. Which brings me to why I'm sharing this with you now, because what happens next depends on whether people like you pay attention. Behind every statistic there's a human story, Behind every arrest, there's a family destroyed. Kelvin Ward left behind 2 children and a wife of 23 years. Kellyan Bokassa was studying for his GCSEs. Ward's family said, quote, "He was just trying to get dinner after work," unquote. Bokassa's mother said, quote, "He was coming home from school," unquote. 3 months of investigation, hundreds of documents, thousands of hours of CCTV, and it all comes down to this: ordinary people living ordinary lives, destroyed by extraordinary violence. But something else happened during Scepter. Communities started fighting back. In Wolverhampton, knife crime dropped 28%. In Salford, 67% more weapons were voluntarily surrendered. In Croydon, community patrols increased by 300%. For every network dismantled, a community healed. For every weapon seized, a life potentially saved. So where does this leave us? After 700 arrests, after £2 million seized, after international networks exposed, what's next? Operation Scepter was just the beginning. Similar operations are planned for 2025 in Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. Sources tell me that European authorities are now coordinating with British police. The international trafficking routes are being targeted. But the networks are adapting too. New technologies, new routes, new methods. This story isn't over, which is why I need your help spreading awareness about what's really happening on our streets. This investigation took 3 months and thousands of pounds, but it's worth it if it saves one life. If this opened your eyes to the reality of international organized crime, then please do me a favor. Share this with someone who needs to see it. A parent, a teacher, a community leader. Knowledge saves lives, and your voice matters in this fight. Hit subscribe and the notification bell if you want to follow this investigation wherever it leads. I'm tracking the money, the weapons and the networks behind Britain's knife gang epidemic, and you'll be the first to know what I uncover next. Drop a comment below and tell me what shocked you most. Tell me what you want me to investigate next. Your questions drive these investigations, and together we can make sure the truth doesn't stay hidden. Together, we can make sure communities stay safe. Together, we can win this war against international crime franchises operating on British streets. This investigation continues, justice will be served, and I'll see you in the next one.